Welcome to Violin Adventures number 159. We're going to start off with the ancient Italian violin, and if only it could talk, what stories it would have to tell us. Well, we have here a beautiful old violin, and it looks to me to be Italian. I'm not for certain yet, but I'm going to show you some of the details of this violin that make it very special. Look at this beautiful scroll. Here's the other side of the scroll. And you can see that this is very small here and very gracefully goes around. Here's the back side. Here's the front side. It's such a beautiful, graceful scroll. Then here we see the sound holes. These look to me to be very early sound holes, but we see here how it curls around. As you can see, we have a lot of cracks on this violin. There's a couple here. There's one over here. We have a bar crack that may be repaired, but we'll have to check it out. We have a long crack coming up this way. There's a small crack up here. So we're going to go ahead and take this violin top off. Okay, while I'm looking at this, getting ready to open it up, I see that this has been opened probably quite a few times, and there's a lot of little tears in the wood. Here the violin is all opened up, so we see the top here. So it has a proper bass bar, but it's an old one, so we'll remove that. This crack is open, so we're going to take all of this off and re-glue that. Looks like there's a tiny patch here where the sound post was. This, which looks like a label, but it's just a repair from the sound post crack right there. This has very tight, small corner blocks, which you can see how beautiful the flaming is in here. So the back looks good. It looks like we may not need to do anything on the back. The fingerboard is loose, and this was a little shim that went in there, so we're going to take this all off. I'm wondering about the top because it doesn't appear to be as old as the back, but I'm not for certain. So we will need to get this fingerboard off. We'll need to take the neck out and get it to the proper angles. Okay. All right, we got the fingerboard off. Here you can see the shim that was added. They have a channel in the maple instead of in the fingerboard. So we'll look that all over. I just cut my hand, so I'm going to go get a bandage on it. Okay, all is well. Now that I look at this a little bit more, and they just did a really good job. Right now I can't see where it was grafted. So they did a beautiful job while grafting in the scroll with the longer neck here. But I see they added a little piece of wood here in order to make the top fit. So that tells me this probably wasn't the original top. The back wood seems to be very old, and this is just a lot younger. So it makes me wonder what the top was like. Maybe it was so broken up they didn't feel like repairing it. Maybe it was full of worms. There's no evidence of any signatures or any writing on the inside that I can see. Here I'm working on getting the neck out. Okay, got these little supports out. One there and one there. Here's our ancient Italian violin. We've got the neck out now and the fingerboard off. And this is going to need a new upper block, but I'm going to set that aside for now and have a good look at this top. Now this top I don't believe is original to the back, because the back seems to be much older wood than this top. This top is probably the late 1800s. This neck has been, the old scroll has been grafted onto this neck. That neck was grafted on probably around the time that they made a new top for this violin. This is a beautiful Italian. The wood on this top isn't as good quality as I would expect. What we're going to do now is we need to take out all these cleats. This crack is open. When I tap this wood, there is no tone in it right now. The first thing I'm going to do here is get this top sounding good, and then I'll feel more inspired to work on the back, because the back is very lovely. Okay, I cleaned out the dirt in the crack, and it seemed that there was even varnish in the crack, which makes you think that this probably was repainted. It might have been taken off of another violin, but not for sure. But I'm going to go ahead and glue this up now. Okay, that seems to be gone together real nicely. So we're going to leave that and let it really dry before we can do anything else. As soon as that dries, we'll work on some of the other cracks. Okay, we're going to take these clamps off. And it looks like it was a good repair. Okay, so next we need to do these other cracks. Still not much tone. Wow, there's not much tone in there. Okay, got the bass bar out and done a little bit of work to get a little more tone back. So there's tone starting to come up now, which is great. Now what I'm thinking I'm going to do next, because when the glue gets warmed up, I want to close up all the cracks here above the sound holes. But before I do that, I think what I want to do is clean this, get all the dirt off, and that way we can see the cracks more clearly. Something that's very interesting is over on this side, 3 scratches in the surface of the top, and they varnished over it. They didn't clean it up before they varnished it. That's just interesting. I'm thinking that would make it look like either they were trying to antique it or they were in a rush to make the top. Okay, after it gets all cleaned, you can see little clues about the age and how it was made. If you see up close here, you can see all these scratches in the surface of the top, and it looks like it was varnished after the scratches. So it looks like they quickly made it into scrape it nice and smooth. They just went ahead and varnished it. The same is over here. You can see all these scratches. It almost looks like they made it very quickly. Now I cleaned this top in order to see clearly the cracks. And here you can see this crack has been there for a long time. You can see the dirt inside the crack. Here's another crack which runs all the way up. And this crack is also very old. Now here's the cracks in the sound post area that run like this. They appear to be closed right now, but this means on the other side we need to do a sound post patch, because once that gets under pressure, those will open again. Oh, another clue I saw. Since this is all polished, it's a bit shiny, but hopefully you can see here where the hands were, or where the skin would touch the violin, the purfling is worn off. And down here where the neck would have gone, the chin, the purfling is worn off. There's a little indentation there, so it shows us that they indented it a bit and then they painted it. You can see this is an early style purfling where they didn't put out the bee sting. So this could be more of the Amati era rather than the Stradivari era. Okay, after thinking and looking at this so-called crack that runs all the way, and it's not a natural looking crack because it's going across the grain, which is really strange. So I think that this was a way to antique it. They might have put some scratches in it, and this was a long scratch that comes through the sound post area, but this does not appear to be a real crack. Henceforth, we can now change our plan. If this is a fake crack, then we don't need to do a sound post patch. So someone may have antiqued this. Okay, we've got our nice, fresh, new hide glue here, ready to go, nice and hot. And I'm going to go through and glue up all the cracks that we were looking at. Okay, on our cello here, we've got the bass bar in, and the next step is to clamp the top on, figure out where I want it to be, and then put in wooden dowels so that when I glue it up, it'll be right where I want it to go. Okay, we've gone around the edges of this top. We want to check the tone. So it's got nice big tone. So before we put our label in, I'm going to seal the wood. Okay, we're setting the dowels. Okay, we're going to let these dry, and as soon as they're dry, I'm going to put a label in and prepare everything to close it up. Okay, new label and a signature inside the instrument. We're ready to close it up. Well, I did it again. I was recording me taking all the clamps off of our beautiful cello, putting them in our nice cedar box, and then the camera beeped at me that it wasn't on. Oh well. So here we are. We've got the cello all together, and the next step is to do the purfling. So what I need to do next is go all the way around, filling the edges, making sure they're all smooth, and then we can start the purfling, which may be next week, but we'll see how much we can get done. In the meantime, I've also been working on the scroll.
Hi, I Freddy, and thank you to everyone who is praying for my friend Mr. Winters. He's hanging in there, but he still needs your prayers, and I got to go out and watch because it's getting really cold outside and I need to wear my scarf, but I don't have it yet. But anyway, it's getting really cold outside, so my grandpa had to put blankets on the bees to keep them warm this winter. So, here goes.
Well, here's our beehives. So they've got their blankets on them and they're all ready to winter. We harvested a couple beautiful frames of honey. Here's some beautiful liquid gold.
That was pretty neat. Now, don't forget to send in your pictures and all the projects you're working on so we can put them in this section of the video, okay? Bye!
Hazdei Hashem Ulam Ashira Lador Vador. Odia Emunatika Bafi. So this says, I will sing of the mercies or the loving kindness of the Lord forever. With my mouth I will make known to all generations your faithfulness. If you know where this is found, please leave it in the comments below. Here we are Friday afternoon and it has turned cold. The leaves are almost all gone. Here we are inside the shop. All is quiet. Here's our cello table. This next week we've got to get the purfling in. I've been working on the corners, getting them to all match. And next goes the purfling. Over here is our ancient Italian, the Del Mar. We've got the cracks glued up, but as I tap this top, there's still a buzz. So we have to find that crack wherever it is. Then we'll put in a new block and reset this neck. We also need to put in a base bar. Thank you so much for watching and for all your wonderful comments, and thank you for your thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Bye.